All right, so we're about to dive into a story that starts with something we all know and love, ordering a pizza. But then it takes a turn into something else, something truly terrifying. Let's get right into what makes this particular late night delivery so unbelievably chilling.
So, before we jump in, let me ask you something. If you've ever delivered anything, food, packages, whatever, what's the weirdest or scariest drop off you've ever had? Just keep that in your head because I promise you it's got nothing on the story we're about to unpack.
Now look at this message. The food was delicious. I'm coming to give the tip myself. Sounds pretty good, right? Just a satisfied customer? But in the context of this story, those words are absolutely bone-chilling. They're the final, horrifying piece of a puzzle that ends in death. So let's back up and see how we get to this point.
Okay, so our story kicks off at a place called Crazy Pizza. It's 11:50 at night, and outside a massive storm is just hammering the city. You know, the kind where it feels like the sky is trying to swallow everything. Inside, it's quiet, and our delivery driver is just about ready to head home. So this is Rohan. He's got his raincoat on, helmet in hand, and he is done for the day. But just as he's about to walk out, ding, the order tablet goes off. One last delivery. Rohan's not having it. He immediately says no, it's way too late, the weather's a nightmare, and he just wants to go home.
But then his manager dangles a little something. A 500 rupee tip. Now, for a delivery guy, that is a lot of money. We're talking enough to cover his fuel, maybe his expenses for the whole day. And just like that, going home doesn't seem quite so important anymore. You can just feel the struggle going on in his head, right? His gut is screaming at him that this is a terrible idea. It's almost midnight, there's a storm, and this whole thing just screams prank. But his manager couldn't care less. He's just like, hey, it's prepaid, the money's in, just drop it at the gate. It's such a classic horror movie setup, isn't it? A small, logical decision made for money that just kicks off an absolute catastrophe. So Rohan gives in. He agrees to do it. The manager hands him the printed slip with all the delivery info. And as Rohan reads it, his confusion turns into this cold, sinking feeling of dread. Because it's not about the money anymore. It's about where he has to go. Get this. The address, it's not a house, not an apartment building. It's the Mukti Dham graveyard. And the instructions are super specific. Gate number 2, leave the pizza right under the old banyan tree. I mean, can you blame him? His first thought is exactly what ours would be. He says, "Sir, you want me to deliver a pizza to a graveyard? This has to be a joke." But the manager just shrugs it off. He figures it's probably for a night watchman or something. To him, the payment cleared, and that's all that matters. So, with the pizza box safely in his thermal bag, Rohan kicks his bike into gear. And this trip, this journey into the darkness, is where the suspense really starts to crank up. The story does a great job here of just peeling away his sense of safety and leaving him totally isolated. He's driving through these empty city streets, the rain just pounding on his helmet. Pretty soon, the streetlights and the city glow disappear behind him. He's on a single, dark road. No more buildings, just dark bushes and old, crumbling ruins on either side. The only light is his bike's headlamp cutting through the black. And then he feels it. The bike suddenly feels heavier. His heart just starts hammering in his chest. He gets this undeniable, chilling sensation that someone is sitting on the seat right behind him. He whips his head around to check the mirror. Nothing. Just pitch blackness. That's what's so scary, right? It's not about what he sees, it's about what he feels. He risks a glance at his watch. And of course, it's exactly midnight. As the clock strikes 12, this huge, rusted iron gate of the Mukti graveyard just appears out of the darkness in front of him. He pulls up to the gate. It's creaking back and forth in the wind, left slightly ajar. And the silence here, it's just different. It feels heavy, like it's pressing in on him. He calls out, "Hello, pizza delivery." But the sound just gets eaten by the night. No reply. Okay, so he does the next logical thing. He pulls out his phone to call the customer. The call connects. And then a spike of pure ice shoots down his spine because the phone isn't ringing in his ear. He can hear it, a faint ringtone coming from somewhere inside the graveyard. Every instinct is telling him to leave, but he pushes his bike through the gate anyway. And instantly, everything changes. The air drops, becoming freezing cold. This overwhelming smell of wet dirt and decay hits him. And as his headlight cuts through the gloom, there he is. Under a huge, sprawling banyan tree, a man is sitting on a bench, perfectly still, just holding a ringing phone. This is it. the moment of truth. Rohan's hands are shaking as he walks toward the figure. And the short conversation they're about to have is what takes this from a creepy delivery to an actual living nightmare.
The man looks up. His face is ghostly pale, his eyes just hollow. He thanks Rohan for the pizza and says quietly, "Today is my anniversary." Rohan, just trying to break the tension, asks if it's his wedding anniversary. And the man gives this tiny, cold smile and says, "No, my death anniversary."
Before Rohan can even wrap his head around that, the man takes a slice of the fresh, hot pizza and places it on the ground. And in a split second, it starts to rot. The cheese turns black, green mold just explodes across the crust, and that delicious pizza smell is gone, replaced by the stench of something rotten. The change is immediate, impossible, and absolutely horrifying. And then the man picks up that foul, decaying slice, holds it out to Rohan, and asks in that same dead voice, "Will you eat?" And that's it. That's the breaking point. Rohan doesn't even think. He just spins around, scrambles for his bike, and tears out of that graveyard as this awful, wailing sound echoes behind him. He is flying back towards the city, his mind just screaming. But the horror isn't over. It's not confined to the graveyard. The real finale is waiting for him right back where he started. While he's racing back, his phone rings. It's his manager, and he sounds completely panicked. He's yelling, "Don't go there! Don't go to the graveyard! Come back!" And then the line just goes dead. Rohan guns it, gets back to the shop, and finds all the lights on, but it's dead quiet. He goes inside and finds his manager on the floor, behind the counter. He's dead. His eyes are wide open, and his face is locked in a mask of pure terror. The dead manager's hand is resting on the order tablet. Rohan looks down at the screen. The order status now says, "Delivered successfully." But right under it, there's a new message from the customer, the same one we saw at the very beginning. "The food was delicious, but the delivery boy was in a hurry. Don't worry, I'm coming to give the tip myself." As Rohan is staring at those words, a dark shadow falls across the glass door of the shop. The figure from the graveyard is standing there. It steps inside, its hollow eyes locked on Rohan. It takes a slow step forward and says, in a voice like stone, "You and your manager, do you remember what you did to me? For a single pizza, you buried me?" And that's where we're left, with this horrifying cliffhanger. What did they do, and what happens when the sins you bury refuse to stay dead?